Hello. That was me. That was actually myself. I'm saying hello to. Anyway. Yes, you may hear outside sounds because I live in a community where people live. Sorante! Welcome. Flip that whole round. Boom. Yes, start that one. Start that one. Thank you very much. Hello. I'm sorry I'm late. Listen, I'm here. Barely got here, but I'm here. I'm in the building. Reading what Miss Taylor said will commence. Here we are. I did it. Last week I was having Wi-Fi issues. I'm not having Wi-Fi issues this week. I'm just having brain issues. But it's just that, you know, I got a lot. I got stuff going on, and then today I was just kind of running behind, and I took a COVID test, and I'm good. You know, make sure you wear a mask and respirators wherever y'all are. I need to figure out what I'm going to eat today. Hey. Welcome in. Happy leap year. Happy leap day. Let me turn up the brightness over here. Yes. Hello. I'm going to do that. I might dip in and out. Thank you. It's all good. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to read for the full time today. I'm going to read until, well, I'd say for the full time, but really it's going to be till about 5 o'clock, 5:10. So, you know, and the playback is going to be available. I don't know. I stopped counting, and I really need to count them again and organize the videos. I stopped counting, but I'm going to count them again to double check. But I think you're right. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been that many episodes. I can't believe I've done it. Oh! My ring light started giving out. It started slipping and falling. Couldn't get up. Hello. My ring light started slipping. Oh my gosh. Has it been 84 episodes of Reading what Miss Taylor Said? I'm really proud of I'm going to get to 100. That's all I know. I'm going to get to 100, and then we're going to see how it goes. Welcome in. Welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. I'm just waiting on people to get in here, but really I'm going to start in just a moment. We are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. It's about how adult daughters can understand and heal from lost nurturance, protection, and guidance from their mothers. And I'll start reading in just a moment. Just wanted to give people time to get in here. I have not been doing a good job of promoting. I'm just, man, I don't have it. And I was talking to my friend about the show earlier today, and I was just like, you know, right now, all I got in me is to show up and do the show. I don't have all that I used to, like, because when I used to run the show before and it was at its best, you know, I didn't have a job. I was getting paid to stay at home, you know, and so I could run it the way I wanted to. Welcome in. And now I just kind of feel like, listen, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it as much as I can. And then, you know, whenever I get more energy, whenever I get more time, especially once I'm out of school, like, I'll do a better job of promoting it. I have some ideas about ways to expand the show that I think would be realistic, and so I'm really looking forward to that. But until then, I'm just gonna keep showing up here on Thursdays right around 4 o'clock. I may not promote it very well, but I'll be here and I'll be reading. And until I get back in that habit real good again, you know, I'm going to do the best I can with what I got. And so I appreciate y'all being here. I think it's a good time to go ahead and start. Welcome to Reading what Miss Taylor Said. My name is Taylor, also known as Miss Taylor Said. And I started this show in November of 2020 for a few reasons. For for a few reasons, and they've changed and evolved over the years. But, you know, ultimately I have a bunch of books and I want to read them. I also want to practice. I said hard as hell, didn't I? I want to practice reading in front of an audience, and I also want to practice engaging with an audience, because I plan on using my voice for public speaking and connecting to others in the community. So I appreciate y'all being here. Also, another reason I now really care about, I mean, I cared about it before, but it feels like in these times it's really important to read books and to promote literacy. And so I am happy to read books aloud to the people that follow me, and hopefully in the future I can read books aloud to people in my community, like in front of their face. So shout out to the readers, you know, shout out to the bookworms, you know, shout out to everybody that is teaching their children how to read and reading with their kids, and shout out to all the kids that read, shout out to all the adults that read, whether they're doing it for pleasure or for business or for school, whatever y'all do. If you are taking time to read, shout out to you, and I hope that my show encourages you to read more often. I also hope that my show encourages reality. You know, there's a lot of AI out here, and so I'm happy to contribute to authenticity and realness on the internet. Also, Free Palestine. Here we go. Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Where we last left off, let's see what we were talking about. It was just talking about, well, not just, but we were talking about how we need our mothers. Everyone continuously needs mothering. Yes. Shout out to Reading What Miss Taylor Said. Thank you, Sarante. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Maybe one day I'll be on Twitch, and maybe one day we'll get back on YouTube. But until then, we on Instagram and Facebook. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get back into the book. If you missed the previous episodes, just scroll back on whatever platform you're watching on, and it'll be there. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go into the next section, which is called Missing Maternal Care. Mother hunger is a term I created to describe what it feels like to grow up without a quality of mothering that imprints emotional worth and relational security. Mother hunger feels like an emptiness in the soul that is hard to describe because it may set in during infancy or before language forms and becomes part of how you always feel. The term mother hunger captures a compelling, insatiable yearning for love. The sort of love we dream about but can't find. Many of us mistake mother hunger for a craving for romantic love, but in truth, we are longing for the love we didn't receive during our formative moments, months, and years. Essential elements of maternal care provide the environment for a robust, healthy brain that is ready for bonding and learning. I just want to pull over real quick because that is a really great point. Many of us mistake mother hunger for a craving for romantic love. There are a lot of people out here that are chasing romantic relationships, and I say this because I was that person before I recognized that the hole I was trying to fill was from the desire, the intimate love that you get between mother and child, parent and child, particularly mother, because she, you know, mothers are, that's a specific bond. But I found myself, and it's something I've had to really work on, but I found myself looking for the intimacy of mothering from romantic partners. And I put a lot of worth and a lot of value into romantic relationships during times where I felt really emotionally lonely. And you remember when we were reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, like they talked about emotional loneliness that you feel whenever your parent doesn't show up the way that you need them to. And so I found myself chasing the love I wanted from the specific love I felt like I wanted and needed from my mother in romantic relationships. And the worst one, the final straw for me as far as chasing her love through romantic relationships, the final straw for me was the relationship I left 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years this year. The relationship I left about 5 years ago with the abuser. I found myself just censoring the way that we usually censor ourselves on the Clock app just now. Anyway, when I left that person, I realized between the time that I left and now, it's taken me some years to really process that the love that I was receiving from that person mimicked the type of love that I grew up with. And I thought I thought it was okay and normal for a while. What I was experiencing was okay and normal for a while because of the relationship that I grew up with in my home, and the behavior I saw in my home. And so now being able to reflect and look back, I can really see that what I want to experience in romantic love, it's interesting. I'm going to put that down for a second. It's interesting to think about the journey of love. And we read The Mastery of Love here on Reading What Miss Taylor Said back in 2021. But the journey of love really truly starts with self. Because if the love you need is not modeled for you in childhood, you know, the nurturance, the care, the compassion, the embrace, the protection, if that's not modeled for you in childhood, you know, you look for it elsewhere. And you either look for it elsewhere and or in combination with gosh, I wish I was articulating myself better, but that's why we're practicing again. But you end up finding it in different relationships, and you chase it over and over and over again. And it's like, you know, like that movie Groundhog Day. I immediately think of those time loops that you get stuck in, or that they show on movies and TV. I immediately think about the one from the time loop from what is it Naruto, Shippuden. And when I want to say it was Kabuto. Don't quote me on this. Anime people, don't come for me, because it's been like a really long time since I watched that, and I was watching with someone who was the real fan, and I was just kind of sideline watching for enjoyment. But I do specifically remember the episode with Sasuke's brother being stuck in that time loop, and it was the crows and the snake and all that stuff, and him being stuck in that time loop. And it was like he really had to do something different to get out of it, to break out of it. And that's what ends up happening to us. If especially those of us who experienced abuse, emotional neglect, you know, complex emotional relationships, you know, negative emotional relationships in childhood, whenever we go into like our adult relationships, if we have not been able to do that work, if we have not caught up with the pattern, then we will continue to go into these loops until we're like, I got it. I've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I got to do something different. And I like the fact that this points out that many times we be hungry for our mamas. And I'm saying this don't apply to everybody across the board. Some people have lovely mothers that really, you know, did the best they could, or really like wanted to be a mom and really wanted to love their kids and really did that. That was not my experience. And I ain't trying to bash the lady, but that just wasn't my experience. But there are some people that did grow up with mamas that did want a mom. And, you know, their moms may have made a lot of mistakes, But ultimately, the intention and the energy that they put towards their child is, I want it to be your mama, and I love doing this, and I love you, and I want to protect you and stuff like that. And it's thinking, even if they're flawed in it, they are protection first. They are cover my baby first. They are take care of my baby first. And they may have done a lot of other stuff, but, I'm speaking to the people who are starving, hunger, who are starving for the type of love and protection that we're supposed to get from our mothers but didn't. And that includes, and this is not to, and I've been very sherry with my family experiences, but, that includes my mom too. She was also hungry for her mother to be the mom that she needed. There are times, that is one, I don't know if I've ever shared this with her, and I don't, I probably won't, but that is one ache that I do feel for my mother, is that I know, if there was a way to, this is going to sound so dramatic, but based on my experience, based on how I feel, based on the person I am, there are times where I'm like, I could have been a great mom for my mom, and I love my granny, God knows I do, but I feel like I could have been a really good mother for my mother and given her the love that she needs. But the only reason I know that or feel that way is because of what I experienced growing up. So obviously that is an unrealistic situation, but just knowing how loving and nurturing I can be, I wish that she had gotten that experience and it had been modeled for her, because it wasn't modeled for her, and she went into mothering without that knowledge. And so, she was starving for mothering, and then she had kids before she could feel her stomach and feel her emotional, well, I'll say stomach, but could feel her emotional body, so that she didn't have that hunger anymore, or that hunger had lessened. She ended up having children instead. And so then that hunger was passed on. And so I wish for her to, anyway, all of that to say that many of us, like in the book says, many of us mistake mother hunger for a craving for romantic love, but in truth, we are longing for the love we didn't receive during our formative moments, months, and years from our moms. Essential elements of maternal care provide the environment for a robust, healthy brain that is ready for bonding and learning. Babies need reliable, sensitive human closeness in order for the brain to develop the necessary social areas for human connection. Our first love, a mother's love, teaches us how love will feel in the future. Today, when fathers are more involved in raising their children than ever before, the idea of the unique and irreplaceable role of a mother may seem old-fashioned, and yet there is significant evidence that biology has an impact on the different ways men and women nurture, and the most recent research has shown that a mother's unique presence is critical to the emotional development and mental health of their children in their early years. I'm saying mother, and for those of you who are the birthing parent that don't identify with the experience of cisgender woman, which is usually linked to mother, I will do my best to include birthing parent as often as possible when I'm talking, instead of, when I'm reading, I'm going to read what I read, but, birthing parent to be inclusive because reasons. Today, Did I read all of that already? Yes, I did. Hungry to Attach. Thank you guys for being here, and I appreciate your patience with me. We are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Hungry to Attach. If you are reading this book, it's likely that sometimes you feel crazy, ashamed, or broken, but you aren't. Mother hunger is deeply misunderstood, and people who don't have mother hunger simply can't relate to what it feels like. This, of course, leaves us feeling alone with all of our confusing emotions and behaviors. In 2008, I used prevailing clinical language to describe mother hunger as an attachment disorder. I regret this terminology because mother hunger isn't a disorder, it's an injury, a heartbreak that forms from inadequate maternal nurturance, protection, or guidance in early development. Injury aptly describes mother hunger because living with it hurts all the time. It's like grief, complicated grief that comes from carrying an unacknowledged, invisible burden all by yourself. As a child, if essential elements of maternal nurturance and protection were missing, you didn't stop loving your mother, you simply didn't learn to love yourself. Please. Welcome in. If you are just now joining us, we are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Ooh, that one hit. As a child, if essential elements of maternal nurturance and protection were missing, you didn't stop loving your mother. You simply didn't learn to love yourself because loving you was not modeled for you. Loving you was not modeled for you. So all of your attention, especially those of us who grew up with mothers who emotionally relied on their children for emotional labor and security and things like that and validation, like there was never room for you to be taken care of emotionally. So all of your love had to go towards that parent to prove to them that they are worthy of love, because a lot of times these people be having kids to prove that they are worthy of love. They have kids because they didn't get the love they needed from their mama, and so they have the children to make up, to have something, to create something that will always love them. And that is the burden of being a child, is that no matter how wrong your mama do you, no matter how wrong your daddy do you, particularly mother though, because you literally were in their body, like particularly birthing parent because you were in their body, but like to a degree, you always gonna love that lady. Always. And I remember growing up, like that was something, ooh, this is about to be a lot. This is about to be like kind of heavy, okay? But I remember growing up, like something that was said to us frequently was, because sometimes it would be like, you act like you don't love me, saying that to the kids from her. And it would be like, y'all act like y'all don't love me, and y'all not happy that I'm here. And, I could be out here, on drugs and in the streets and running around and doing this and doing that. And I could be doing all these things, basically saying I could be doing all these things that imply that I'm neglecting my child and not taking care of my child and leaving you without your mama around. And there are kids whose moms do that, and they love their mama and they do anything for their mama and they ride for their mama. And I'm here every day, and you don't, basically we don't give her the emotional security that she's looking for from her children, because it was seen as us being ungrateful and not trying hard enough to love her because of that perpetual mother hunger. So yeah. Whoo! It's not a disorder, it's an injury. It's an injury, kind of like PTSD is an injury. Like, it's a disorder, but it's an injury. Your brain is injured, and that's why it can't distinguish between what's happening in real, like, it can't distinguish that a memory is a memory and not what's actively happening right now. And here is also like that mother hunger is not an attachment disorder, and I appreciate Kelly McDaniel pointing that out. It's an injury. It's your brain was supposed to understand love a certain way, and that was given in a, sorry that I'm not articulating myself very well right now. It was given in a distorted, that love was given in a distorted way. I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to go back and read that line again. As a child, if essential elements of maternal nurturance and protection were missing, you didn't stop loving your mother. You simply didn't learn to love yourself. This is the essence of mother hunger. Mother hunger is a heartbreak that touches everything in your world, particularly your relationship with others and your own sense of worth. In this book, I will explain this concept from many perspectives, biological, emotional, and psychological, so that you no longer feel confused, crazy, or alone. In attachment theory language, mother hunger is a way to rename insecure attachment. Insecure attachment is a bothersome label because it implies that something is wrong with you and how you relate to others. No one wants to be called insecure, but insecure attachment is not a character weakness. It's a term created for research purposes that categorizes how you attach to others, which is a direct result of how you were nurtured and protected as a child. 4:44 on the clock. Welcome in. If you're just now joining, we are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Welcome in. Welcome in. No one wants to be called insecure. Okay, I just read that. It's a term created for research purposes that categorizes how you attach to others, which is a direct result of how you were nurtured and protected as a child. At least 50% of the population has an insecure attachment style. We look at this more closely in the next chapter. So if your early years left you with an undesirable or untrustworthy experience of relationships, you're in good company. When early needs for nurturance and protection aren't met, it's a setup for mother hunger to grow. Although many adults have mother hunger, it shows up differently for each of us, based on which maternal element was missing for how long, and to what degree your hunger may be mild or severe. Mother hunger comes from events that may happen before language is formed, when a mother's care is your entire world. To get an idea of this, think of your biological mother as your first home. Her body, embrace, and emotions were your first environment, inseparable from your newborn body and emotions. For an infant, a mother's body is the natural habitat that regulates breathing, body temperature, sleep rhythms, and heart rate. Nature's design is for her to stay close so that your development goes smoothly. When a baby is alerted to a need by hunger, pain, or separation, nature's design is for her mother's soothing touch and sounds to meet that need. Over time, with maternal responsiveness, positive interaction strengthens the developmental reward systems that help us trust others and manage stress. In this way, the daily interactions and nighttime comfort between mother and child are the neurobiological glue for all future healthy relationships. That's heavy. That's heavy. And I just want to pull over for a moment and sympathize with mothers, because that is a large requirement. That is a large requirement. Like, that's why entering motherhood should not be taken lightly. Because quite literally, doing that thing where you put a child down and you let them cry it out is psychologically damaging to a child. Because that baby brain, processes that my mother, my home, has abandoned me. If our mother's body is our first home, when the mother walks away from a crying child, it is literally the home is displacing itself, is removing itself from the child, and that baby brain does not process that. And it's that's heavy. That's why it's and this is not to shame anybody who went into motherhood with less than adequate resources. It's just for me, I just want to extend that empathy that is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. And I hope that journey is not entered lightly. That journey is entered with the full understanding and the full support of, a partner, multiple partners, friends, siblings, parents, community, the village. I hope that that journey is entered to with the full amount of support needed, because it's like truly there is a journey of separating, there's a journey of healthy separation or healthy detachment. We're going to continue. But we're reading Mother Hunger. Whew. Okay. Let's get back. When a baby is alerted to a need by hunger, pain, or separation, nature's design is for her mother's soothing touch and sounds to meet that need. Over time, with maternal responsiveness, positive interactions strengthen the developmental reward system that helps us trust others and manage stress. In this way, the daily interactions and nighttime comfort between mother and child are the neurobiological glue for all future healthy relationships. If for whatever reason your mother was not ready to be a mother, or if, like many, she was unaware of the concepts that we will cover here, science suggests that you may carry the ambivalence, fear, or anger that she felt. Her responsiveness to your needs and her physical presence may have been inadequate. Although you have no clear memory of her early care, your body does, because the body doesn't forget. So if a mother is neglectful to her baby, if a mother neglects their baby, if a mother mistreats their baby, if they don't feed them enough, if they don't hold them enough, if they make them suffer by crying it out and crying and neglecting them and things like that, that baby, that body does not forget. And that's heavy. And I'm sorry it's heavy, but it is. But it's the truth, and that's why that journey should not be entered into lightly. Okay, sorry. I'm very passionate about that. Because the body does not forget. When essential elements of maternal care were absent, the result is an attachment injury that becomes the foundation of future thinking and feeling. My phone was trying to get me to take a break. Implicit memory is the next section. As a baby who was neglected is indeed the truth. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel you. It's like, it's just like, because you enter, like, I know something that I feel sometimes is that if I cry, I'm going to be left alone. And I'm going to have to cry by myself. And I'm going to have to just cry and deal with it on my own. Many times in my life, as much as I may want it and have wanted it, everything in my body, when I start crying, everything in my body wants to be scooped up and held. And like literally, I have a stuffed animal here, so don't judge me. Inner child trauma. And also stuffed animals are awesome. But like when I cry, I want to be scooped up and held onto and soothed and nurtured and things like that. I want that. But my body has the expectation that that will not happen. Because there were few people in my life when I was a child that scooped when I cried. Honestly, a lot of times it was just like, especially once I got a certain age, like once I was 8 years old and older, it was just like, here go Taylor crying all the time. Taylor always crying. Yeah, because I'm emotional and I have big feelings. But anyway, like the body doesn't forget. And so now my instinct is, even though physically I know I want to be held and scooped up and all that stuff, when I cry, like, I know that I'm going to have to deal with it on my own. So I just go ahead and go straight into deal with it on my own mode. Okay. Anyway, implicit memory. Implicit memory is the next section. Again, we are reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. Your body knows the story of how early love felt. For this reason, I just want to see how many pages are left. It's going to take us a while to get through this book, y'all. Anyway. Your body knows the story of how early love felt. For this reason, much of the focus of this book will be on the first 2 years of life. Before memory is explicit and cognition is available, when thinking isn't thinking at all, it's feeling. Infant and toddler thought is a body-based emotional experience informed by the early environment. Since the thinking brain, or neocortex, develops sometime after 3, when children start asking why a lot, logic isn't available before then. We can think of it like this. For a baby, feelings are facts. If baby is afraid or hungry and a sensitive adult responds to her cues, all is well. If no one is there, all is not well. Separation from a familiar caregiver means danger. Plainly put, I really would like to highlight that. I'm going to do it later. So, again, when we're reading this, it will be in the context of, for a baby, feelings are facts. If baby is afraid or hungry and a sensitive adult responds to her cues, all is well. If no one is there, all is not well. Separation from a familiar caregiver means danger. Emotions are stored in the body and create a certain reality or belief system. The world is safe and so am I, or the world is scary and I'm all alone. Stored sensations like these become implicit memories. Unlike explicit memory that is conscious and has language, implicit memory is unconscious and has none. Implicit memories reside deep within the limbic structures of the brain, silently whispering messages of safety or danger to the rest of the body. Early experiences impact the developing central nervous system through feelings and bodily sensations. In this way, remembering things from your early years is more of a sensation than a conscious awareness. Feelings create implicit memory from pre-verbal, precognitive moments with and without our mother. I am not reading this correctly. Early emotional experiences literally become embedded in the architecture of our brain. When an infant's vulnerable nervous system picks up that things are not safe, as with early maternal separations or insensitive care, nature calls forth a fear response. Fear releases cortisol and adrenaline, which can be toxic for developing brain regions. When fear isn't soothed and happens regularly, a baby stores the fearful sensations in her cells, building a body and brain poised for danger, hungry for love but wary of human connection. That paragraph resonates very deeply with the way my body feels and almost made me cry a little bit. I didn't cry, but I almost did, because captured the whole thing. Understanding implicit memory explains why sometimes we have no idea why we act the way we do. We can't see the distress living in our body. Early memories are dissociated from consciousness, but they direct our moods and our health throughout life. Dr. Daniel J. Siegel talks about the importance of integrating implicit and explicit memory so that you gain insight into how your past is impacting you. You are doing that now by acknowledging mother hunger and learning how to heal it. Let's see. Let me see how many sections we got before the next chapter. Okay, we still have quite a few pages before the next chapter. I know it's taking us a little while to get through this, and I appreciate y'all's patience. I'm going to keep reading until about 5:15. I know it wasn't enough to actually get a full tear out, but I felt that feeling behind my eyes. 5:15. I'm also hungry and I need to go eat something. All right, the next section is called Human Connection. The first environment each and every one of us experiences is our biological mother. In utero, her emotions and nutrition inform us about the world we are entering and how to live in it. Our sense of belonging begins here. Human connection, our ability to bond with and trust others, is first developed in the womb and continues growing within a suitable primary relationship so that we are ready for social bonds with others. We know that the largest predictor of human health and happiness isn't wealth or status. It's the number of loving relationships we have. The basis of lifelong psychobiological well-being is established during the first 1,000 days of our lives. Dr. Alan Shore, world leader in attachment theory, stresses the importance of the first 1,000 days, which encompass conception to age 2. He calls these first days the origin of the early forming subjective implicit self. Neuroscience informs us that the brain doesn't differentiate emotional pain from physical pain. The body can't tell the difference between a broken bone and a broken heart. An infant who is hungry or lonely feels pain. When there isn't a close caregiver to relieve her, the pain intensifies. Her brain cannot inform her body about why she's in pain. If maternal care is compromised during the first 3 years, this lack of nurturance is heartbreaking for a baby. The science is irrefutable. Children need nurturance, protection, and guidance from their early caregivers in order to develop the necessary brain processes for optimal living. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, identifies safe, stable, and nurturing relationships, and those are shorthanded as SSNRs, as foundational for promoting the healthy social and emotional development of children. Within the context of SSNRs, again, safe, stable, and nurturing relationships, adults can buffer children's fight or flight responses in the face of stressors. These relationships further allow children to optimize positive personal development and promote their social skills. The CDC defines safe, stable, and nurturing as follows. Safety: the extent to which a child is free from fear and secure from physical or psychological harm within their social and physical environments. Stability: sorry, I just felt something in my hand that hurt. The degree of predictability and consistency in a child's social, emotional, and physical environment. Nurturing: the extent to which children's physical, emotional, and developmental needs are sensitively and consistently met. Note: while advocating for children, the CDC also emphasizes that adults need SSNRs with other adults, often referred to as social support or social capital. To maintain nurturing relationships with their children, the Center for Healthcare Strategies explains how one critical outcome of SSNR is attachment, is secure attachment. If you're just now joining us, we're reading Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. We can't expect infants and children not to have these needs simply because they are inconvenient for us to meet. Woo! We cannot expect infants and children not to have these needs simply because they are inconvenient for us to meet. I hate it when adults treat their children like they should already know how to take care of themselves emotionally. Doing all that crying, why you doing all that? You should know now. That is a 2-year-old you're talking to. A 2-year-old does not know. A 1-year-old that does not know. A 6-month-old does not know. A 6-month-old does not know how hard it is for you to take care of them. They don't know. All they know is, I'm okay when mommy is around. I'm not okay when mommy's not around. I'm hungry. That all they know are their basic needs. And feelings are, like we said earlier, feelings are facts for a baby because they don't know yet. They don't know. We cannot expect infants and children not to have these needs simply because they are inconvenient for us to meet. Another reason why we should not have children until we have the things we need for them. Until we are ready to meet all of their needs. Fuck capitalism. Because honestly, more people would be able to adjust to that if capitalism wasn't requiring us to be at work all the time. Anyway. As Erica commissar points out, oh, excuse me, it says the cost of ignoring them is too great. The cost of ignoring our children's needs is too great. As Erica Commissar points out, we want to eradicate mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and violence in children and young adults, but we don't really want to look too deeply at the root of the problem. If we look too closely, major changes would be required of us to remedy systemic issues of parental leave and misogynistic life forces that objectify and disempower women. We will take a closer look at patriarchy in Chapter 6, Protection. All right, I know I said I was going to go to 5:15, but I'm going to go ahead and stop here because it feels right, and I'm hungry. We will go into the next part next week. I will see you guys next. What is the dates? What is the dates for next week? I cannot. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. March 7th, I believe, will be the next episode of Reading What Miss Taylor Said. We will continue reading Mother Hunger. And while the show is going one day a week, it's going to take us a while to get through the book. And I'm okay with that if y'all are okay with that. Feel free to get the book and read ahead. You know, I look forward to continuing this book with y'all. I want y'all to take care of yourselves, love on yourself, go journal. I'm saying that to myself as well. Go journal and talk about your experiences. Process that, you know. I don't really have much more to say. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I'm gonna go eat some food and hang out and such. I hope that y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching Reading What Miss Taylor Said. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great weekend. Make sure you wear a mask, and protect yourself. You know, make sure you are consuming things that are nutritious for your body, and drink water. You know, take your vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin C. Hello. Take your vitamins and things like that. Drink water, wear a mask, protect yourself, because there's a lot of stuff going on out here, going on. I don't have the words today. I do apologize. I appreciate y'all being here. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all next week, March 7th at around 4 p.m. for another episode of Reading What Miss Taylor Said. I hope y'all have a great night. Bye. And hopefully the video posts.